and welcome back to Reflections on the More of Life. One, its celebration, its expressions, the healing, and the joy of its fullness. The sun today is finally breaking through on what was otherwise a dark and rainy, overcast week, and I'm reminded, regardless of how dark it gets and seems to be, life continues to flower abundantly for us. I want to express and share with you a loss that has occurred recently amongst us. Elena Johnson. And we are reminded once again that life lives in very thin places. Elena was a big lady with an even bigger heart, and she poured her goodness into the world for me and for others in exceptional ways. To put it quite simply, she was good to the bone. Elena won't grace the waters of my lake any longer, but her presence will not be diminished or taken from us. There have been others amongst you who have lost special and important people before their time, and so we can share this together. When this occurs, for me, it's kind of like a shooting star, that wondrous experience that I chase down in the nights. And when I do see a shooting star, I'm always wanting to kind of hold on to it and get it back for another run against the dark night. Elena, friends, was, for me at least, such a shooting star. But I can take comfort, and you can take comfort as well, in knowing that shooting stars are always absorbed by the heavens. And it's from that adjacent realm where they can continue, as Elena will and does, pour their goodness and their beauty into our world. Today, we have a theme that's very special to me, and I'm going to introduce my daughter Mercy, who's my assistant here today. And she has in her hands a chicken that hopefully won't get away from me, and who will be part of the message. This is an old chicken, and you might say an old chicken man and an old chicken doing this together. But this lady is coming to an important time in her life. In fact, she's ready to enter what is called the molt, or the molting process. And these old and tattered feathers will be given up for new ones. And the way that relates for me into the life of humankind is that we've come to a time when we need to consider the molt as well. And in this expression, and in these regards, I am thinking of ideas and attitudes which are so responsible for holding us back and keeping us in this time of aggression, accumulation, and depression. Things are not well. And along the highway of life, particular to her journey, death is still allowed to play its game of precious lives to take. The much that we are is often withheld from us. And if we reflect for a moment upon what indeed is the face of evil, I would suggest to you that it is ideas. And like these old worn and tattered feathers, those ideas may have served us for a while, but now it might be time to let them go. And I speak of ideas, as I've mentioned before, the idea of specialness, self-righteous attitudes, the ideas of original sin and karmic debt, which bound us and allow us to feel lowly when indeed we're not lowly. And in replacing those ideas, it's like getting new feathers. And when we give up these old tattered feathers, in their place may become new ones, which may become wings that we can fly beyond and above the decadence and the negation which so surrounds this world. And behind all of this, individually, there's a process that must play out. And it can be discomforting. When chickens go into the moat, it's a stressful time for them. In fact, they'll stop producing those lovely eggs which some of you have enjoyed. And there will be about taking time to allow the follicle to push the old feather out and a new one to be replaced. And the way this plays out, I think, in the psychic of man is that we sense a bit of fracturing. It's almost like the old and historic individual has to be opened up in a discomforting way sometimes to allow these new feathers to take their place. And what this experience might be much alike is to reduce the sense of the yin and the yang in our lives, to diminish the dualities which so define this world, but are not necessary to the expression of life or to celebrate its fullness. Whenever I think of the process, it's almost as though two people are looking into the same being, and one is asking the other, "Who are you? And where have you been?" But throughout the process, it's not about throwing our historic selves out, because quite frankly, our long journey and our long livingness has found us mostly involved in the relationship of life itself. And even today, most of what we do celebrates quite beautifully what life is asking of us. It's just that the habits of accumulation, the aggression, the manipulation, and the taking is putting a huge hurt on us, friends. And at the same time, it's putting a huge hurt on our natural world. And this has to be corrected. So we need, again, to remember the ideas and attitudes that lift us, some of which we are mentioning in the More of Life, because they're valid and they're very true. I get a little bit upset and emotional about the thought that the dualities of life are necessary for our experiences. But truly they are not. I know of a world, and I've been there, where life lives always and death is not even known. I've been to another realm where happiness seemed to be in the air because sorrow was not present. So this is some of what lies before us. And when we allow the process of molding to occur, where the old is disregarded or sloughed off for some new, the new feathers, the wings of our tomorrows, we are accepting a more ennobling relationship to life. And we can fly high above the conditions that seem to be so grounding today. I don't know how else to state this process that unfurls amongst us. But it would be kind of like if we were comfortable in the old self, was thinking, now we might involve more feeling. If we were comfortable in the rational, we might trust again our intuitive. If we were most comfortable in the tried and the tested, we might seek out the unknown. And all of this is about merging that which we might become with that of what we were. Because truly, when this bird molts, we don't throw out the bird. The bird just becomes better at what it does. It flies better, it scratches better, it lays nice eggs again. And so this is the process of rejuvenation. So it brings us to a point in time throughout this process that delineates how deeply involved we are willing to be regarding the expressions of life, that we are honored at some point. And Mercy, I'll give you this wonderful bird back, but she is a beauty and she has done well for us. And we will tolerate her moat, and the feathers will be all over the place, and she's ready to go, get some new wings. So it brings us to ask, as we begin to see the potential of our beingness and understand its connection to the river of life and our need to return there, it allows us to ask, which cup, friend, which cup shall we raise to our precious lips? This one is one that we know all too well. This cup is distracting. This cup feigns satisfaction, but it leaves us hungry. This cup is in the way of life's journey. And this cup represents what is wrong about our relationship to this world. And these ideas that we have to slough off, like manifest destiny, dominion, are really what has propelled this hand of taking. And that's why I say, in the long and the short of it, ideas are as much of the face of evil as anything we would refer to as darkness. We need to identify those attitudes and ideas which nurture life and not selfishly take it away. This is the cup I choose for you, and this is the cup I choose for myself. This is the cup that's only ever half full. And half full, you say, and I say yes. And it simply has the fluid sustenance of life within it. Today, we have water. But the beauty of this cup is in that it represents the communion between us as beings in existence and the sustenance given from life. That as we take from it, we put something back. We are forever involved in the relationship of expressing life, well, that which we need to support our functions and structures are given to us by life. Though it only be half full, you can never drain this cup. Because when you celebrate in life, you're always putting something back. And ultimately, you are returned to life's river. And as we find again that space and place to which we belong, we never thirst for anything. But in the meantime of molding, we do feel a thirst. And the blessing of that thirst is that it compels us to continue to seek our place in life's fullness, to not be satisfied for anything less. That thirst will continue to drive us, but at the same time sustain us. It's an interesting relationship. And we all need to be as much about this as possible. Yes, it'll put a smile on you and in you, even while difficult times, challenges, and work confront you. But it is always there to sip from this. And as we take from this cup, we find that somewhere within it is the expressions of life. And that is what life is asking of you in these times. To continue to place into our world the fragrance and color of life's blossom. When we cast this down into the world around us, we are lifting this world up. And then we are satisfying the greatest gift of all. Namely, we are continuing to celebrate the fulfillment and the unfolding of life and existence and our place with it. And as we do that, friends, we indeed are giving back to this world what she has given us. And in that, we have taken the opportunity to be the much that we can be. So even though today and always we celebrate those special people who have been in our lives, and we drink from the cup of life, which reminds us to also remember those who are now present. Come on, Roy. Come over here. Get over here, Roy. And can you imagine this little guy? He has grown so much from our last appearance. And even though our relationship is growing, it doesn't keep up with his long legs and loose hide and big ears. But Roy has come and been a gift. And life has that habit of finding something beautiful to put in front of us when we allow our plea to reach out. So remember, friends, have your intentions, extend them into the hand of life, and she will manifest them so that the future can be born in you. Thank you, and see you soon for the solstice.